It's interesting how I was feeling kind of blah, and then I just did that half hour of self-dialogue, and I feel a little bit better. So maybe I'm back on the self-dialogue train. I don't know. We'll see. It'd be nice to, at some point, do videos that I don't have to edit. I did like editing them through the process, though, because I'd often have more insights from listening to myself, but it'd be nice to just be in conversation with other people and then do videos that don't need editing. Projection is anticipation of fear or pleasure. And it seems we live in anticipation and not participation, because we're always projecting what we're anticipating. And so we're participating with our own projections, but not actually what is. I'm wondering when I go home if I can improvise my life. I wonder if we can get to a place where life distracts us from the programs of society. And I think that's kind of what mania is, what magic is when we're so in tune with life that we're distracted from the programs of society. And that's sort of what distraction is. It's sort of not paying attention to what we're told we should be paying attention to, what we're programmed to pay attention to. And then our own life energy moves us away from that which we're programmed and conditioned towards. And mania is just an exaggeration of this. So instead of working on something and then being distracted, so-called distracted for a couple of seconds and then going back to it, it's like being distracted and then distracted and distracted, but really, it's not really distraction. It's moving towards life and moving with the life energy that we are. And when that first starts happening, it's kind of haphazard because we've moved so far along a trajectory of programming. And the thing with the life energy too is it's not necessarily purposeful and it's not necessarily goal-oriented in terms of what we've been programmed to do. I think there's value in so-called distraction in that we're moving off the track that we've been pushed into by the pressures of our conditioning. And Bohm mentioned that the values of society act so quickly that we feel like we've chosen something, but really it's always our programming and the values of society that we've been conditioned in. So there's an illusion of freedom of choice. And these programs have power because of the values assigned to the programs. But we don't see the actual real value of beauty right in front of us. And it seems like there's no longer advantages to going along with all the prejudices of society and the community. And our nervous systems can no longer handle it. And in so-called mania, it's like we're auditioning and interviewing for the universe, to work with the universe and for the universe, and as the universe. And I'm not sure if I'll release this content as a supernova, just release it all at once. And I'm not sure if anyone's done videos that way, just releasing them all at the same time. It's a content supernova. And we can't play games with someone yesterday, but that's what we're doing by playing with our thoughts. We're playing with the things of yesterday. Thoughts are playing the game of yesterday. And our nervous system is supposed to be a translator of light and information and energy, and not just a looper of thought. But the loop of thought is interfering with the clear translation, and if we can't translate the information, we can't transform. And I feel like language is a gift. It's a privilege and not a right. And we need to be careful how we use it. And something's wrong with the brain organ in that it's not translating beauty. The sense of beauty is turned off. And there's that saying that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, our brain and our eyes are so clogged up with thought that we can't see beauty. And the brain needs to sense holistically in order to see beauty, because beauty is a combination of all the senses working together harmoniously. And I was informed by someone that it's odd to hear our own voice in our own head. And I've talked quite a bit about this. And I'm pretty sure I used to hear my own voice in my own head somewhat. And this is what's referred to as inner chatter and self-talk, etc. So if that is incorrect and most people don't hear their own voice in their own head, just replace that sound analogy with energy or vibration of some sort. I wrote down that it's interesting we can write on the universe, just like I'm writing on the page to make notes. I'm actually writing on the universe. Something that wasn't there is put there by my action. And it's the same with embodied mania. We're actually writing on the universe, but in a different way. So we make manifest, and we can have a manic manifesto. So imagine when we think, we're actually writing what we think on our brain cells with a pen. Now, would we really want those things there? We're writing those words on our brain cells, and the brain cells can't grow properly in that sound or noise or vibration or interference. It's actually interfering with the brain's growth and movement and fluidity. But when the brain is silent, the universe can grow through the brain. The resonances of light and information and vibration play through the brain. And remembering long enough is knowledge. We store up information in our brain, and we store it up to use it for some kind of purpose or use it against something or someone. But in this state, when the brain cells start to decouple from memory, there is no purpose because the brain can't remember long enough to have any kind of purpose. More of the brain capacity is diverted to seeing and acting in the moment, perception and action, based on the moment and not based on past knowledge stored up. And perception creates energy, and it arises and is released in action. And I wonder if there's any patterns in mania, if the brain is looking for a new pattern, or if it's beyond any pattern. And the trouble is, when one is in mania, one's living beyond pattern for too long, whereas the whole society is based on pattern. So one bumps up against patterns and gets patterned back into the pattern, but in a new pattern called mental illness. And the brain seems to have a compulsion to label energy with thought. And it messes up the new energy coming in by putting that old thought energy on the new energy. And there's a compulsion to know instead of just be with. I even was thinking today if there was a type of therapy where people say something to their therapist, and instead of the therapist saying something back, they just said, okay, can we just be with that? Is that a fact? Can we be with that fact? And we're often categorizing things based on like and dislike. Facebook must really help with this. But that's what forms an image. We form it according to, if we like something, we're comparing it to all the things we've liked or disliked. So that creates the center of like and dislike. And I wrote this long bit, so I'll just read it in the spirit of getting through this. Thoughts don't create things. They change your relationship to things. From a living thing to a labeled thing. Something unknown to that which we think we know. Something figured out. Therefore, there's no relationship. The label prevents relationship and is the efficiency. The brain doesn't have to use energy. or create energy, to be attentive and find out. Attention creates energy. There's passion to find out. Therefore, relationship creates energy. If it's fluid, dynamic, and a play of energy, information, light, instead of that sound identity that fragments it and reduces its living quality to knowledge, the past. Thought reduces the living quality of energy in relationship to knowledge, stored up image words of the past. The algorithm of the brain is this: reducing life to knowledge about life for efficiency in relationship in favor of programmed values. I am just a peer saying what appears to me. I am the peer potential project. Next episode, I have a few pages of notes from a talk on the Neuroscience Summit by Joe Dispenza. And he talks about some neurology and stuff like that. And so it should be really cool, and it'll probably take a video or two. Maybe less, maybe more, but I'm getting through some of this stuff, and that feels good.